You think you've got my number figured out, a motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Monday. Is it Monday already? Jesus Christ. Welcome to the Monday stream, everybody. I hope everyone's having an awesome. Sorry about that. An awesome Monday, and I hope everyone had a phenomenal weekend. Just trying out some new headphones. Cognizant with the tier 1 sub for 3 months in advance. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hello, hello. You know, this headset here is supposed to be nice and comfortable. But we'll see. I'm 30 now. Time to buy a house altogether. Now, buy a house in this market at these prices? Well, first of all, congratulations, Cognizant. Happy birthday. And two, I completely feel you. Welcome, everybody. I'll just put this on. All right. Folks, we have a lot of stuff to go through today. I want to buy a house too. Renting is for suckers. 30-month sub. I'm actually 50 last week. Well, congratulations and happy birthday. Well, goes to show what I know. Happy belated. Well, to be fair, we were just informed right now. I hope you had a good birthday, I should say. Folks, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some new breaking developments, or I should say, there's a new breaking story that's currently happening right now. Apparently, there is or was a potential second assassination attempt on Trump. And there's plenty to talk about on that end. So we'll get right into it. We'll leave that story. We'll leave that story for last. Taking a week off, having naps on demand. Damn right, it was good. Nice. Now that is a birthday. That is a birthday. Folks, if you enjoy the content, don't forget, hit the follow button. It really does help us out. I appreciate all the likes on YouTube. I see you guys. Keep liking that stream, folks. Keep it up. We're at 257 subscribers on the YouTube, so keep that up, folks. Keep it up. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways. Consider checking out the merch store. I'm very proud of that merch store. I'm going to be adding some stuff soon. Probably within the next week. Within the next week or two, I think I'll have some more stuff. There. I'm gonna be working behind the scenes whenever time permits to get to it. But yes, we will be adding more stuff, and you can also support the channel by tipping your streamer, hitting !tip. Thank you. Quad Bennett, welcome. Another assassination attempt on Trump. Yes, we will be talking about this. This is pretty breaking. Not much information is known other than we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We got a few things to go through before we get there. But yes, we will be talking about it. Let's not put the cart before the horse, yeah? All right, folks, let's get started. Can everybody hear me okay? We doing good? Everything's good? Looks good. All right, good to go. Okay, good. I think we should probably start here. I'll leave this one for last. Because it's important. It's relevant to the first article that we're going to. So I will put that here. And let's start with some memes. Looks good, I should say. Okay. Sounds good too. All right, awesome. Then we're good to go. As long as it sounds good, looks good, it is good. Let's do it. All right.
Brett Weinstein has a theory about Kamala Harris's debate performance. Does he get into how horribly Trump did and how everybody is laughing at him and it's considered one of the worst debate performances of all time? Is that what he's going to do here? Oh, no,
no, probably not, right? What's the over under? We're going to get into some conspiracy theory stuff right now. I haven't seen this clip, so that's why I'm putting it up.
I won the debate. Did she take performance enhancing ivermectin before the debate? Is that what this is
that's hilarious.
going to be about?
Maybe that would get Brett's endorsement, but let's see where he goes with this.
The radical centrist. The radical centrist. All right, let's do it.
There's been a lot of discussion online this morning of the interesting earring that Kamala Harris appears to be
Oh
wearing.
my God.
Fashion
And
police.
there appears to be
crystal magic.
Bro, I've seen this clip. Like, are we for real? I don't know. This was the. I thought this was another Brett Weinstein moment, but I actually posted it. Okay, I didn't realize they were going to go through this particular clip, but Brett Weinstein is literally going to talk about her earrings because there's a conspiracy theory that that her earrings had some kind of like microphone and audio going through it. So like somebody was feeding her the questions. But this is the level of intellectualism that we're dealing with here.
Subtle replacement for earbuds in earring form. If you didn't want to have earbuds in your ears, but you wanted to listen to something or maybe make a phone call, I don't know. That there's some earring you can buy that will do this, and Kamala appears to be wearing it.
What?
Now, I think this is another trap. I do not believe that this was done with something like an earbud, nor do I think it could have been done. And so, my guess for that
was done.
Wow. Brett Weinstein here really giving us the hard-hitting facts over here. So basically, like this is the longest the longest winded. That's even grammatically correct, but whatever. The longest path anyone has ever taken to say that they've discovered what earrings are, okay?
It was the earring, or a facsimile of it, used to cause everybody to go, I know how they did it. She had somebody talking in her ear, right? And I won't be surprised if there's some reveal that there's some other earring that this actually was that doesn't do that, or I don't know what it's going to be. But anyway, again, traps abound. That's the thing that I think people need to understand, is that we are now being targeted.
Oh, wait. Hold on. That part's particularly important. Anything to distract from the fact that Trump is a galactically colossal loser. Yeah. Hold on. This is actually pretty freaking important. Let's remember that we're dealing with a centrist, right? Not a Republican, not a conservative. We're dealing with a centrist.
Or I don't know what it's going to be, but anyway, again, traps abound. That's the thing that I think people need to understand, is that we are now being targeted in order to make us jump at things that aren't real, and that it is important to resist that. It's
okay, wait. All right, pause it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, that's the key part of that clip right there. Like, seriously? Bro, nobody's laying traps for you, okay? Like, you people are so freaking delusional, okay, that you are making stuff, you are fabricating an entire reality out of nothing, out of thin air, okay? That's what's happening, okay? There's no traps here. Like, you people are just delusional. They're plain and simple. To the exact objective definition of that word. There's no traps. Like, there's no traps here. You people are just delusional and are seeing things that aren't there. Okay? You're making this up. Say it with me, folks. Weird, indeed. Absurdity traps. Centrist libs fall into them endlessly.
This is wow.
He's blaming everyone else for their own his own stupidity. He's like, there's big signs that say, "Don't go down this road. Danger ahead. Pothole ahead." And he just goes, "Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait. They're trying to make me fall into the pothole because I'd look stupid. I
wonder what gave everybody the idea that these type of people are prone to swing at phantoms.
Yeah.
No, that absolutely does work, because in your scenario, you put up a sign to warn someone that danger's ahead, and these idiots go, "Oh, I gotta see this," and they go fall.
It's so true. It's so true. Man. Amazing.
Fall into the danger, and then they go, "Well, you shouldn't have put up that sign if you didn't want me to go down there."
Yes, yeah, that's it.
I'm doing my own research, folks, okay?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I just think, well, first of all, she didn't do that well. She didn't do so well that it made me think, oh, yeah, she's juicing. She has someone in her ear telling her what to say. Like, she came across as quite nervous at a lot of points and sometimes stumbled over her words. So whatever. I will say, I think that
I don't know. I think she really killed him, but okay.
I think she.
Well, compared to him, yeah. Does that make sense?
Killed him, but I also think he showed up half dead. So,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, I agree with that. With that last statement, I agree with Brandon. That last statement, like, yeah, dude, she totally freaking destroyed him. But he was already kind of, the moment he started freaking talking about like this just like delusional take about delusional racist take about Haitian immigrants eating pets or whatever, like it was over. That's it, done deal. That debate was over. So I get what she's saying, and I get that last part there.
Well, it's not as though
fair enough.
She just like put
like,
the
to be clear, like, you know, we're not exactly dealing with an intellectual giant here, okay? When it comes to Trump.
was over his face, but it's fine. She did fine. But certainly not like I was like, oh yeah, she has Aaron Sorkin in her ear coming up with hot jabs. I will say, I think it's fun that he's blaming other people for his like paranoia. I don't want to say clinical paranoia, but this is something that's very common. And like, this is like a full conspiracy theory podcast now, where he's now saying that, no, you don't understand. Like, they're setting traps. So
like literally, that's so freaking delusional. Like, it sounds so delusional. That's the only word that comes to mind that fits. It sounds delusional because, well, it is.
That the less sophisticated conspiracy theorists out there fall into them and look silly because they want you to think that the secret is that the earth is flat, but it's actually that it's concave. And that's how you know, like that's the
but
kind
you
of
look
logic
stupid if you fall for the first one. It's a trap.
You look stupid if you say the earth is flat.
But speaking of, just really quickly, because I don't want to continue with this broadcast if we're going to have a secret agent on air with us right now who's being told things by George Soros with things that look like earrings, but they look like AirPods.
Yeah, but they're actually they're actually potential devices that emit certain frequencies, okay, or you know, a facsimile. A facsimile, okay, of a device that looks like an AirPod, but actually transmits a specific frequency that increases brain power. Okay, that's what's happening here. Is that what they're claiming?
But there we go. Matt Binder is getting.
Who are you talking about? What?
Yeah,
I mean those earrings are like the most cliche. Like, oh, those are like the earrings that like all older women who are well off end up buying. They're just like your basic like white round like pearl like looking earrings that like. In movies, when they're like, we need this person to come off like an older, well-off person.
I sent it, but not too well off. She didn't do Van Cleef, which, is often like, or whatever. That's an expensive necklace, but that I've seen that politicians wear. But they're $800 Tiffany pearls, which is like when you're a politician that doesn't want to bring out the real bling that you've got, that's tens of thousands of dollars. And that as a woman, people are going to be looking up her outfits. Like Trump probably wears one suit, like one custom suit, and then throws it out and doesn't ever get it dry cleaned again. The amount of probably like expensive clothing he runs through. But of course, she gets scrutiny about her earrings because she's a woman.
All these people.
False.
Yeah, all these people in the sort of dark colored cars, the team that follows me home from work every day, like I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to convince me that I'm on the Truman Show. And I'm not going to act like I'm on the Truman Show, even though, because really I might be on the Truman Show. Right. They're just trying to make it look obvious.
So they're setting traps. They're setting traps. Faux Machina, welcome. You can't dry clean out the Cheeto dust.
I don't think I'm on the Truman Show, but guys, I see you out there. I know millions of people are watching my every move, and I'm just trying to give you a good show.
I think if you're one of the sheeple, or a Sherson, if you will, a sheep person, you might think, no, Kamala has a team of stylists who decide what earrings she wear for the reasons that Emma said. But if you've opened your third eye, you're aware that they made the decision specifically to make Brett Weinstein look insane on his own podcast and to make all of his fans look insane because it's led them to theorize when everyone knows they injected a micro speaker behind her ear that would vibrate her cochlear bone so that you wouldn't see anything.
Yeah, in this debate prep where she's trying to win over millions and millions of people to win an election, you know what I think her stylists probably were thinking of and sweating over for weeks and weeks? It's like, how can we find the right pair of earrings that will goad Brett Weinstein into saying that they're an earpiece? Yeah. But the thing about Brett is he's just so smart that he sniffed that out right away.
He's so smart.
Amazing. It's actually amazing that he was able to see that to see through that so succinctly. In my opinion, paying attention to any content from the Beanie Turd, the Daily Wire, anyone who fell for the Tenet Media debacle is an absurdity trap, but that's me. Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, just to be clear, like, the purpose of this content is to laugh, is to laugh at Brett Weinstein. Okay. In no way, shape, or form should we, as you implied, in no way, shape, or form is any merit or any energy worth actually like trying to even like, you know, at one point I think like there was a time where I think it was actually beneficial where I think it was actually beneficial to consistently push back and potentially, you know, counter narratives. But I think that like now I think the better play is just to like keep going, move on. Move on. People like this, as you mentioned, the Beanie Turd, the people from the Daily Wire, like we're not here to I'm just going off on a tangent. We're not here to like, you know, go point by point and unravel these delusions. At this point it's not there's no point. That's what I'm saying. I'm here for a laugh. I'm a goat. I'm the goat.
They're they're kicking themselves now. They're like they're in the situation room being like, he's on to us. He's always one step ahead of us.
Or there's another layer here, and Brett is even just a really bad conspiratorial thinker. And the thought process was, these are secret earbuds that we're going to make look like those Tiffany earrings. So Brett would think we are trying to bait him into thinking they're really earbuds, but he's too smart. He's going to think he's too smart for that and assume, wrongly might I add, that they're just regular earrings meant to look like earbuds. Boom, gotcha, Brett. Sorry.
This is exactly like what happened on 9/11.
How so?
Well, because, you know, there were no towers.
Oh, right. Thanks.
What video should we play next?
No, I love this. I love how every IDW, like half of them just like disappeared, and now the other half are just like normal conspiracy theorists. Like that was his face, Owen Benjamin guy who got kicked off of Twitter because he was sexually harassing David Hogg after the Parkland shooting. Like he's just a straight up flat earther now.
Yeah.
Like he just
right.
like he's on This Is Jericho or whatever, like talking about flat earth theory. And it's like, yeah, like this is what happens when you pride yourself on just being a contrarian thinker for the sake of it. You end up going to places that other people have already been like, that's not
right.
for me.
Right.
Yeah, next, these guys are going to try to convince us that there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. That one.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Underrated moment from the debate was when Trump's like, I almost took a bullet to the head, and John Muir's like, sir, we have some important things to get to.
Yeah,
Stop talking.
Sir, no one cares.
I don't care about it.
Hey, folks, don't forget.
That's too funny. The only benefit is to use it as an example to those who are trying to exercise from the conservative extremism of what not to pay attention to. Yeah, I mean, like, if they're willing, then yeah, I guess that would be a worthy endeavor. If they're actually open to listening, then it signals that they may be open to perhaps making the decision of leaving the cult, in which case, yeah, all Godspeed. I agree. Godspeed. Matt sure fits in there over at MR. I used to not be so sure about him, but he's growing on me. Yeah, Matt's pretty funny. SV Harkin, welcome. Nobody cared. It's true. Mighty Mouse or Mouselander, holding it down on the YouTube. Welcome. Thank you. I think is there anything else to this clip? Because I had it here. But honestly, I think like listening to their reaction to this was probably funnier than to make up this here.
Now, I think this is another trap. I do not believe that this was done. with something like an earbud, nor do I think it could have been done. And so my guess for that was
Okay.
it was the earring or a facsimile of it used to cause everybody to go, I know how they did it. She had somebody talking in her ear.
Yeah, this is delusional. Yeah, I think I don't know if they played this section because like this is where they're getting like that commentary from. Bender was on MR from when it first went on YouTube. Yeah, Bender, old Matt, has been there for quite a while. So this last couple of like, welcome to Simulacra. What, 20 seconds, 30 seconds is is like the delusion, right? Is the delusion, right? Because he's literally saying like they literally did this so that people would notice, and then those people that would notice would get these like, dude, this is delusional. Bender does do good journalism, I agree. Yeah, he's old Matt. Matt Leck is new Matt. Why are they so damn close? Because they're streaming from a broom closet. I bet that closet is lined with aluminum foil. They used to have, I don't know how recent this is, but they used to have a completely wooden, kind of like wooden cabin looking set. And now they have this, I guess. It's a Faraday cage.
Right? And I won't be surprised if
As much wood as Tucker. Yeah, like that faux, homey cabin, wood cabin feel. Which, by the way, I'm not exactly like opposed to, but like, come on. I have a wooden set built. I haven't used it in quite a while. It's actually on the other side of these panels. I can flip it if I put some muscle to it. I can flip it over and you get like a nice wooden set. Wood paneling held up with duct tape.
there's some reveal that there's some other earring that this actually was that doesn't do that, or I don't know what it's going to be. But anyway, again, traps abound. That's the thing that I think people need to understand, is that we are now being targeted.
Oh, wait, I think they did play this particular clip. This part of the clip, I should say.
To make us jump at things that aren't real, and that it is important to resist that. It's important to think carefully.
Yeah, no, you're just delusional, bro. That's what's going on here. You're just delusional. Only now it's important to think critically before spouting conspiracy theories, right? It's a trap, you know? You gotta really think about that. All right, continuing the tour of the circus. Let's take a look here. They generate content for the MAGA cult. That's what they get paid to do. 100%. Right? And you could tell, right? Like, the way he frames this, like, you could tell this is exactly the type of stuff that you know, feeds the MAGA cult. JD Vance admitted it outright. Yeah, our own David Dole is going to take it away after this one. They generate content for the MAGA cult. That's what they get paid to do, and we create stories.
We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse
Whoa,
Waters.
Jesse, I don't like that.
figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
That's so freaking disgusting. Like, how do they keep this guy on primetime air is what blows my mind. Like, how do they keep this guy on air?
You just heard Fox News propagandist Jesse Waters make a comment about Kamala Harris that's so reprehensible, even his own conservative co-hosts called him out on air. But of course, he didn't mean to insinuate...
Yeah, greasing palms. Jeez, man. Like, it's just like, it's actually amazing how they let this guy, how they've let this guy stay on air for this long. Like, it's amazing that he still has a job. That's just wild to me. But I guess this is the kind of stuff that Fox is okay with. Fox is completely okay with, given the fact that he's still there. They do it to degrade our society, and it works, and they call us degenerate, right? Well, yeah, because their definition means, like, others, right? People that are not us is what they refer to as degenerate, usually minorities.
That a female president would be R-worded by male military generals. He was trying to say that they take advantage of her politically because, you know, weak femoid brain much smaller than big man brain. That's basically his defense. He wasn't going for violent sexism. He was going for more classic sexism that promotes male superiority. But let me just say...
Ah, yeah. Cool. Much better.
Jesse Waters knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he intended to say. I don't believe that this was just an oopsie. He wanted to make that kind of a joke about Kamala Harris. And it's not the first time that Jesse Waters made overtly misogynistic comments.
Right, like, it's not like there's not a whole history of this guy being gross. So to try to, like, play it off is laughable at best.
It's about Kamala Harris.
When world leaders sit across the poker table from Kamala Harris, they smell fear. They know her tells. Are you going to gamble our country away on a frightened woman too insecure to tell us who she is?
He's not even trying to hide his contempt for women. She is a scared woman, and world leaders will eat her alive. But Jesse, do you not realize that there are other world leaders who also happen to be women?
Right. His mom needs to give him another freaking phone call. Maybe he's getting a bit too bold. The only oopsie I could see. Yeah. Yeah, the oopsie is being too loud. Fox needs an anchor whose sole purpose is to toss firebombs. Well, they got it.
And they're pretty tough. They're doing just fine. Furthermore, couldn't the same thing be said about the candidate that he supports, Donald Trump? I mean, the man is a bumbling buffoon, so why wouldn't you expect world leaders to exploit his stupidity? I mean, that's what the Saudis did. That's what the Israelis did. Of course, you know, there's corruption as well that played a role, to be fair. But I mean, the man is a fucking moron. One of the first things that he did as president-elect in 2016 was nearly cause an international shitstorm by taking a call from the president of Taiwan and tweeting about it. And if you know anything about China and Taiwan, it is a very delicate situation, to put it mildly, which is why former presidents have avoided speaking directly to presidents in Taiwan for decades. But do you think that Trump was aware of that context in 2016? Of course not. Do you not think that other world leaders saw his stupidity and tried to capitalize on it for their own gain? Well, apparently, since he has a dick and balls, he's just automatically more qualified than Kamala Harris by Jesse Waters' logic. Now, it's okay to be critical of Kamala Harris's policy, to be clear, including her foreign policy. I certainly am. But the crux of
the oopsie moves the norms each time. Yep. And that's exactly the point. You're right.
Jesse Waters' complaint when it comes to Kamala Harris's foreign policy is that she's a weak female who would be overwhelmed in the Situation Room. It's just embarrassing. It's despicable. And unlike Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris isn't even making this about her gender. Some Republicans, however, can't not make it about her gender and ethnicity because identity politics is the one thing they got.
Right, and like, yeah, it's exactly it. Like, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's exactly what it is. Because they've got nothing else. That's it. They've got nothing else.
They don't want to criticize her on the policy substance, so they instead resort to sexist innuendo and speculate about her race. That's what they've been doing this whole time. It's embarrassing, and it's not just embarrassing to them. It's embarrassing to anyone who takes these clowns seriously. But this is the kind of person who Jesse Waters is. It's not just that he's incapable of viewing a woman as a leader. He's also a fucking creep, to be clear. And if you think that that's hyperbole, listen to him tell the story about how he preyed on his wife while she was his coworker.
Yeah, this is I remember this story. Others are scary. What I'd like to know is who is physically intimidated by a 300-pound 80-year-old moron who's never been in a fight but has proven to be even slightly never proven to be even slightly intelligent. I'm sorry, he did get into a fight with his ex-wife who mocked his toupee. I think Kamala thinks she has to overcompensate because of gender to get elected. I mean, to a degree, she does, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, misogyny is going to play a factor. How big of a factor nowadays? I don't know. But definitely, definitely, it's something that that has to be considered, because this is a patriarchal society, and misogyny, unfortunately, does play a variable. The only thing more diplomatically delicate than the Taiwan issue is the Israel genocide issue. Trump would be bull in a China shop, both of them. No, I don't think like people are intimidated by Donald. Yeah, like I don't know who would be intimidated by Donald Trump. I'm kind of like more about what he has inspired and what he represents and what people that actually are legitimate threats, how they see him. And how they've been inspired by him. That's where I come from. But he himself, no. He's just a bully. Hillary had never proved her ghoul status, as secretary, so she didn't have that. I don't know. I think that she did have to contend with like misogyny as part of the hurdle that she had to climb. I think that she did have to contend with with that as a variable. And as he just pointed out, Kamala also has the race variable to contend with as well.
When I was trying to get out.
I think they made fun of her laugh too. They did. Sorry, let me get back here.
He's also a fucking creep, to be clear. And if you think that that's hyperbole, listen to him tell this.
She didn't have to prove that to the State Department. She was already in the... Oh, well, yeah, no doubt about that. I'm just saying, like, for president, like, during the election... Just to be clear, I'm just talking about the election, the campaign, and how, like, that all went down. I believe that misogyny absolutely played a role. How big of a role... you can go back and forth on that, but yeah, I mean, I agree that she definitely was already an insider. She didn't have to go through any of that. 100%.
Story about how he preyed on his wife while she was his coworker.
When I was trying to get Emma to date me, first thing I did, let the air out of her tires. She couldn't go anywhere. She needed a lift. I said, hey, you need a lift?
Let me stop you right there, because I remember this clip. Oh boy, like there aren't enough red flags. Okay, there isn't enough red fabric, red thread, to make the red flag necessary to encapsulate that 5 seconds right there. There isn't enough There isn't enough red thread in this planet to build the make the red flag that would be sufficient enough to encapsulate this dude. This is one of the few stories from Jesse Waters I actually believe. I 100% believe him here. I agree. Whew. What a freaking creep. Yeah, abduction. That is not a date. Ooh. That's the kind of stuff out of like horror movies, man. That's some like serial killer type stuff, man. Jesus Christ. Whew. Gives me the creeps. Reminds you of the husband from the ballerina farms, if you've heard about that. Stalker vibes. No, I haven't, but man, that's just like skin crawling creepy.
She copped right in the car. Does she know this story? No, she doesn't know the story.
Whew, that's where, oh my god. Like, well, I guess now she does. And is he still married to her? Because, whew. Yeah, stalker vibes. Like, oh, did she know about this? She doesn't know, but I guess now she does. Johnny Balls, welcome. She hopped right in the car. Does he think that was consent? Probably. Conservatives have no concept of what consent is because they think that women are property. So, yeah.
She watched the show? The Jesse Jr. does.
You're basically the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, you know what? Gutfeld got the same freaking vibe that I did. That's some serial killer shit. Dude. Even freaking Gutfeld was like, yeah, that's some Zodiac killer type-ish. Yeah, no kidding. That's some... Oh. Whew. Folks, you know, it's because people like this... It's because of people like this that I can't stress enough, okay? I can't stress enough. It doesn't matter who you are. Folks, if you can, please, okay? At the very least, carry... They sell these stuff at AutoZone. Why? Maybe they sell it at AutoZone. They sell this stuff on Amazon. It's like a little thing like this that it's a tire inflator. And go to any auto parts store and buy a tire repair kit. It's so freaking important. Okay, like please at least a tire inflator. A tire repair kit and a little, I think it's like a big battery bank that jumpstarts your car. That jumpstarts your car without needing another vehicle. At least those three things, please. Just keep that in your car. Keep that in the trunk, under the seat. It's please. Oh man, people like this guy is exactly why you would need something like that. Yeah, or AAA. Welcome, Michael Hassler. Yeah, AAA. Like man, whew. Like honestly, AAA should just play this clip and make an advertisement out of it because like yeah, I would. Whew.
The ending. Billy.
Yes, we're married. Did you really do that?
Is that the first time you did it, or did you use that before?
It works like a charm.
Oh my God. Dude, I forgot about this. This was a while ago. Oh man, it just gets worse. And yeah, that's right, SV Harkin. No pushback at all. At all. Works like a charm, he says. So, you know he's done this before. Whew. Okay. Well.
Okay, Kathy Lee
Yeah.
Gifford. joins us.
Okay, let's move on because this is getting really creepy really fast.
So funny. What the fuck?
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
We asked working Americans.
You let the air out of the tires of your coworker who's 14 years younger than you, so she has no choice but to let you give her a ride home. Quite the story. Worked out, though, because she married you. Listen, this man is a real-life Dennis Reynolds, and you're not going to get that reference unless you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But for those who don't know, Dennis Reynolds is a narcissist and a creep who preys on women. That is essentially Jesse Waters, who accidentally implied on national television that Kamala Harris would be R-worded by military generals. It was just a joke or an accident. It's an oopsie, merely. He is so revolting. Now, he knows he's engaged.
Yeah, and the rest, like, hey, wait, you know what? That's a freaking good question. That's a freaking good question. Hey, I wish somebody would have had the sharpness to ask that, Heat. Like, hey, wait a minute. Whoa, what? You said this has worked like a charm before? So what happened? What happened there? Because, like, narcissists only prey on others, or others are only pawns to them. Yeah, 100% Fomashina. I want, can we, like, I don't know if, like, there was ever a follow-up to this story. He married them all. I don't know if there was ever a follow-up to this story, but, like, did the wife ever, like, make a comment on that? Like, because obviously, like, it became public the moment he opened his mouth and told the entire, nation that he purposely let out the tires of his coworkers so that she would be forced to need assistance, and he would be there to provide said assistance so that he could give her a ride so that he could oh man. Ugh. Like, I want to know if there was, like, actually any comment from the wife.
In gutter politics, because he admitted later on in that same episode that his own mother would actually be disappointed in that joke that he made. I'm not joking.
I'm sure my mother was probably go on MSNBC tonight and said, my son, Jesse Waters, made a joke about Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and also, like, dude, you're basically, like, mocking your mom on national TV. You're mocking your mom on national TV, bro. That's wild. I guess this is the type of character we're dealing with conservatives. No, she's either an enabler or a victim of narcissistic abuse. She probably wouldn't. That's so sad.
Being manhandled by generals in the Situation Room, and he has desecrated the memory of our grandfather, and it's disgusting.
I could see my mom doing that. And I wish I had a political dynasty so I could take shots as well.
We appreciate that.
You can tell Judge Janine Pirro is uncomfortable when she abruptly tries to move on whenever he says something extremely fucked up. But what he said there is actually accurate. And I did not know this, but his mom is actually a lib. She's a Democrat, and on the very first episode of his show, after taking over for Tucker Carlson when he was fired, his mom called in to congratulate him and tell him how proud she was of him, but she also had some really interesting advice for her son.
We have a very special guest on the line.
Oh, there we go. This is the clip right here. This is the clip where his mom calls him on air.
Democrat, my mom. Mom?
Hello
how
there,
have you...
Jesse.
Hello there, Mom. How have you enjoyed the show so far?
I have enjoyed the show. I want to say congratulations, Honey Bun. We are so proud of you and your accomplishments, and you've worked so hard. Now let's aim to have you keep your job. And to that end, I do have some suggestions.
Okay.
Do not tumble into any conspiracy rabbit holes. We do not want
Well, failed that part.
to lose you, and we want no lawsuits.
Okay.
Okay. In
Yeah.
keeping, I have a list here. In keeping with the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. We need you to be kind and respectful.
Not a possibility. So fail on that one. Neither of those are things that Jesse Waters is capable of being remotely. Like not even remotely.
You yourself mentioned that humble is a stretch, so I get that. Use your voice responsibly to promote
Failed on that part too. Failed on that account too. Zero responsibility for the kind of stuff that he spreads online, or on national TV. None. Now she's exposing his faults here. How did he think this was going to turn out?
conversation that maintains a narrative thread. There really has been enough Biden bashing, and the laptop is old. Perhaps you could suggest that your people take less interest, for example, in other people's bodies, and talk about that.
Oh, wait. We're trying to keep other people's interest away from children's bodies. That was the point of that segment.
She called them out. Whew.
Mom, I love you.
Wait.
She got him.
I knew this was a bad
I
idea.
want you to seek solutions versus fanning the flames. You could encourage that Bedminster friend of yours to return to his earlier
Yeah, you could do a lot of things, but not going to do any of that.
career on television. Everyone in his audience could wear a red hat, and I'm sure the ratings would soar, although never as high, my darling, as yours on Jesse Waters Primetime. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Mom. I love you very much.
Kind of funny that she has called him out on everything, has not made a show. He has not failed on each thing she mentioned. Yep. As S.V. Arkin pointed out, she freaking just nailed him. Mom, I'm going through a tunnel. His gestures were so childlike. Agreed.
I love you. I'm thinking that a small dinner between 5 and 8
All
would
right,
be
we
the way
gotta
to
go, Mom. This is just like how things are at home. I love you. Bye.
I don't think I've ever seen Jesse Waters that uncomfortable before, because I think that he was expecting his mom to call in and say the typical motherly things like, hey, good job, I love you, I'm proud of you, and maybe, kind of nag him a little bit for being a conservative, but she went so much further than I think he expected her to go, and it was nice to see the look on his face when he was very clearly uncomfortable. But I mean, by now, it's pretty apparent that he disregarded all of his mother's advice,
100%.
and he's reached the point in his career where he's making R-word jokes about female politicians. I would be curious to hear what his mother says now. Like, if she's still proud of him. I want her to call in, actually, because I want to hear from her again, because I'm sure that she would have some things to say about her son. If that were my son, I would be horrified by the things that he's doing for money. Despicable. But keep in mind, this kind of bullshit is what your grandparents and parents are watching on television every single day. After Tucker Carlson for years pumped their heads with white supremacist propaganda, they're now being fed jokes about women being too weak and afraid to be president because all of the military generals would want to sexually assault her. I mean, it's not surprising at this point, but it doesn't make it any less disgusting. But if you want to make a difference, here's what you can do. When you go to your parents' and grandparents' homes, when they're not looking, set up parental controls on their televisions and put passwords in for Fox News and Newsmax so that way they won't be able to view it. That is one small way to push back against Fox News' brainwashing, one household at a time. That's just a little way to stop these old people from getting brainwashed and indoctrinated, for lack of a better word, by these ghouls who are not just wrong politically and bigoted.
Yeah, that would be real unironic reprogramming. Yeah, now we have to do Tim Pool's dad doing call-ins. There is video of that. Maybe we can play that tomorrow. Especially because what's he gonna say? Screw you, mom, says the family conservative. Nah, that sad cat is perfect. I really want to hear the conversation with his mom about the comment about S.A. Kamala. My mom would lose her ish.
But perverts and creeps as well, like Jesse Waters. So resist Fox News by blocking your grandparents and parents from watching it. I'm serious about this. That's the only way to stop this influence, if we do it one household at a time.
Honestly, I'm not even opposed to that. I'm not even opposed to that, honestly. Like, look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're not listening to that garbage. Just give them some booze and agree to play cribbage with them, finally. I would do it without saying anything. Yep. Maybe eventually they'll figure it out. But not, it won't be because of me.
If I have to,
But it
if I
wasn't
have
just
to,
a meme.
Hey, Cloudy, welcome.
if I have to,
But it
if
wasn't
I have
just a
to
meme, sir.
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana.
The carrot.
Yeah, so the cat's the cat's out of the bag, right? That one sentence, that one sentence is everything you need to know. If I have to lie and make up random stuff to make the American people see what I want them to see, then so be it. Just need to just have a Fox team go on a hunting trip and have a few Cheney incidents. The cat and the geese are, yeah, the cat Okay, that pun. The cat and the geese are out of the bag.
Charismatic, electrifying, incredibly talented, and not boring at all, JD Vance was on CNN where he admitted to making up stories so that the media would cover them. All right, so I'm going to show you this clip. Don't worry, it's a quick clip because it is JD Vance, and I can't imagine anybody normal is willing to sit down and watch JD Vance speak for more than, a minute.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna play. How that's gonna play out in the vice presidential debate. When she catches him, you see him shut down for a sec, like all narcissists when they suffer the injury of reality. I have this really important question. We are the periodical streamers. Okay, well, you got one question. Go for it.
I had to watch this full interview on 2 times speed. I'm somebody who watches this stuff all the time. I cannot stand watching him.
Yeah, I create the story. I make the narrative. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It just needs to fit my. It just needs to fit my agenda.
I tend to think, like, what is even the point of talking about JD Vance at all? Because I don't think most people are even paying attention to him, because why would they? But the reason why this is important to cover is because it shows you what the right wing does. The reason why stories that are based in complete bullshit, why they are generated to begin with.
Right. They're generated for a purpose, for an agenda, and that's the real, like, as David Dole said, that's the real exact takeaway or important part of this whole thing. My blood pressure went up like 20 points when I watched Vance. A normal response. We are just trying to fit an agenda. Yeah, but the difference is, like, these people are making stuff up. Like, fabricate, like, the agenda that they're trying to create, is, like, hating immigrants, hating Haitian immigrants, right? And making up stories to do that. Does that make sense? The difference between, because it's true, everyone's trying to make an agenda. My agenda is a better world. My agenda is to push ideas that, in my opinion, will make things better. Okay? And the way I decide to push that agenda, as Michael Hassler just pointed out, is to be as truthful as possible. Is to view the world as it is, and to try to wrestle with the realities and push forth ideas that will help advance people's well-being, happiness. That's my agenda. And for those of you who have been here for a very long time, you know what I believe in. Everyone should have healthcare, housing, education, and food. Like that is the core 4 pillars of how I push this agenda. Well, I'm sorry your agenda won't work in this world. What does that have to do with anything? Like, this is completely nonsensical. Makes no sense.
So I'm going to play for you again. It's quick.
Well, I'm sorry, your agenda won't work. I guess you shouldn't try to make the world a better place. I guess you shouldn't think about how the world could be a better place.
Clip, and then I'll get to breaking down what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, which is the direct connection to this story, as well as the fun interaction between JD Vance and a couple of political commentators on social media, where JD Vance got...
Only the crazy have the right to talk because of social media. I don't know what kind of people you watch, dude, but sounds like a you problem.
Spanked. All right, so here is first the clip, JD Vance talking about making shit up during his interview on CNN.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Right, because it's not. Like there's no evidence that this ever was a thing that's happening. I literally follow a guy that has the same idea as you, give the basics to people, and ultra hates the right. Right, because the right wing wants the exact opposite, as we're literally just going over how they literally make up an entire narrative to otherize, dehumanize a group of people because they don't like them, because they're fucking racist and xenophobic. So yeah, that kind of tells you everything you need to know, right? Like why would anybody have any kind of camaraderie with the right wing when they're like this, right? Like who wants to be this guy? Who wants to be this guy? Who wants to have who wants to be able to work together with this type of guy? By the way, is it sarcasm? Yes, you have the nice Buddhist monks are ultra capitalist greedy pigs, and I'd like genocide. What? I feel it, but I have a backfend response coming from Cloud. I have no idea what any of this means. Maybe if your next sentence is anything remotely cohesive, we can move on.
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children.
That has nothing to do with the point.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to...
It's not a meme.
I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast.
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not accurate.
Dana, it comes from first-hand accounts from my constituents. I say
what first-hand accounts? Like you're just literally like vaguely suggesting things. It has everything to do with Vance's point, which is to spur on pogroms against immigrants, right? Which indeed is absolutely a thing. That's exactly what this is gonna kind of build up to the story here. Yes, you're 100% correct.
That we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it.
The American media is focusing on it because...
Where is your source? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I wish you would have made an actual, like, sentence that would have made sense. Sorry. Try again. Where is your source? Listen. You people are making the claim, okay? I'm saying I don't believe you because there's no evidence to believe you. Okay? So I'm not the one who has to come up with sources. You have to put where your money where your mouth is. Either put up or shut up. If you don't have any sources, then shut up. It's that simple. It's really that simple. If you're just making up random stories about immigrants just so that you can reinforce your hateful ideology, then you know what? Like I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. Like, oh, where's your source? I don't need a source because I don't believe the stories. Yeah, he had a source. It was JD Vance. Like this made no sense from the beginning. The first-hand source was a self-claimed neo-Nazi in a council meeting without any evidence. Yeah, I think I saw that video. The Majority Report went over it. But as far as like actual like legitimate like sources, there is none. There's no police reports. There's nothing else. Like there's nothing. It's just a complete fabrication. That was taken from one story. Okay, from one story that happened. The way they created this narrative was one story that had nothing to do with a Haitian person or an immigrant. It was They were neither Haitian nor an immigrant. A story that happened 100 and something miles away, connected with a Facebook post that the person who made that original Facebook post has now retracted that, and they created this entire narrative out of that. That was it. That's how this became. That's how this was willed into existence. Armand, welcome. Thank you for the follow.
Because they are fact-checking your bullshit. He admits there, if we have to create stories, then we're going to do that. They are generating these stories to try and argue that immigration is scary, that immigrants are scary.
Yeah, particularly POC immigrants, right? It's like when people defend the legitimacy of the Bible with excerpts from the Bible. See, it says I'm right. Yeah, like, well, you prove it. You prove that God doesn't exist. Please tell me we are against Trump's nonsense. Yes, we are. We are. You're in good hands, my friend. It's also legally called something else, racial defamation. I didn't know there was a legal term like that. But yeah, well, you're welcome. You're in good hands. You're in good hands.
This made-up story helps them bolster their argument. That is why they make these stories up. So this idea that, the media would not be focusing on tens of thousands of people stealing pets and eating them unless we brought it up is obvious bullshit. It's not happening, which is why it wasn't a story, which is why it isn't a story. The only story is that they lied about it. If tens of thousands of people were stealing pets from people's homes and eating them.
Yeah, like, mind you, the place that they're talking about isn't exactly like a massive place. It wouldn't take tens of thousands of people. It would take a lot less for things to start like happening. And people would notice. So like, the whole thing is just asinine.
That would be a story. You wouldn't need a president or a candidate to bring it up in a debate. That would be a story, but it's not happening. So it wasn't a story because it's not real. It's all exposed here. This is what the right wing does. Because they have no actual arguments for their obvious xenophobia and hatred towards immigrants and people that aren't white, they have to make shit up.
How can it be so to believe fake news about Haitians eating dogs and cats? I mean, that's so low. I mean, because it's not about the truth, right? It's just to reinforce. It's just to reinforce preconceived biases, and that's it. It's not about the truth. It's because obviously you're correct. It'd be silly on its like surface. It'd be silly to believe this. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, because it's not about the truth. It's not about the truth at all. You can send that to me via whispers. Foot long.
So JD Vance talks about his constituents. My constituents are telling me his constituents are neo-Nazis. That's where this rumor comes from. It's tied to right-wing agitators, including a leader of the national neo-Nazi group Blood Tribe.
Yeah, the Blood Tribe. These are the same. These are the clowns that are showing up in I think several places at this point, with like Nazi flags and Sieg Heiling and shit. Yeah, these are the same like clowns
who took credit on his Telegram channel and wrote that Blood Tribe had pushed Springfield into the public consciousness. There is a video of this neo-Nazi discussing this before it was picked up by JD Vance and Donald Trump. That's who their constituents are. As New York Times writes here, the majority of Haitians in Springfield and elsewhere in the U.S. are in the country illegally, having received temporary protected status from the Biden administration under a program started by George W. Bush for nationals of countries in turmoil. And the impact on Springfield has been clear since this bullshit was brought up during the debate. This is a more recent story. Springfield cancels Culture Fest, citing safety concerns due to threats. One of many examples of the impact that this lie has had. This from over the weekend. New York Times writing here, bomb threats and the FBI. Springfield disrupted by Trump's false migrants claim. So even though city authorities have refuted the story and many residents called it ridiculous, the furor created by Mr. Trump during Tuesday night's presidential debate has put Springfield in the crosshairs of the nation's political wars. For the past 2 days, bomb threats have proliferated, closing City Hall, schools, and motor vehicles office. FBI agents have also descended onto the city over this. The unexpected and unwanted attention generated by Trump's false stories led to real-life confusion and anxiety for some residents. Schools have been evacuated, children sheltered at home, and parents forced to make other plans during the workday. The impact has been obvious. The ongoing bomb threats have led to complete disruption of the entire city.
Yeah.
Again, over this absolute bullshit.
Right. This is stochastic terrorism. No doubt. Plain and simple. Vance is speaking live now. Where is he speaking at? Is there is it on like YouTube? I'm sure it is, right? Is anyone gonna actually pick it up? CNN. Maybe I could find it in the TV app.
Ability to bring down the temperature. That's precisely what Vice President Harris and President Biden are doing and have done consistently. They understand that responsible leadership calls for sobriety, calls for unity, bringing people together. Not
CNN just left the speech.
Not hateful rhetoric.
Yeah, I gotcha. They pieced out. Okay. I'd be amazed if anyone other than Kick would allow Vance to stream on it. It's off now. Yeah, I see. And I have no doubts that the same people who started rumors are contributing to the chaos thereafter. It's like the Blood Clowns or whatever they're called. Yeah, the Blood Tribe. They're doing bomb threats because they're now emboldened. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That is completely made up and is generated by neo-Nazis, J.D. Vance's and Trump's constituents. Now let's get to what J.D. Vance has been doing on social media since the debate. So I got some fun interactions later where somebody, Kyle Kulinski, you may be familiar with him, did a great job replying to him on Twitter, but we'll get there. But this is the kind of shit that he continues on. Kamala Harris wants to give illegal immigrants Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So it's actually Kamala Harris who wants to bankrupt these programs. Vote Trump to save these important programs. Look at where he is putting the blame. This one image, this meme here, you should save this because this is something you can apply to a lot of what the right wing does.
Yeah. Not American, but do you know in which state do people vote more Trump? I don't know. Florida, I guess.
Healthy individual in the middle here. Careful, mate. That foreigner wants your cookie.
What's the most right-wing state we have? I'd say Florida.
Look who has all the cookies. This is what J.D. Vance, Trump, and others do. They attempt to put the blame on people who have less than you, who are fleeing much worse conditions than you're in, as opposed to
Texas, Alabama, all freaking good candidates, by the way,
to looking at the actual problem. Because the whole point here is to distract you. This is a lot of what the right-wing media does as well. They focus on making up culture war issues. They make up issues around trans rights. They make that a culture war issue as opposed to it just being a normal human rights issue. They make up culture war issues around, Mr. Potato Head, and now he's non-binary Potato Head, like shit like that. This is what they focus on as a way to distract you from actual problems. So the problem here is it isn't just those at the top. It is a system that produces very few at the top hoarding all the wealth. Capitalism and the way it operates currently is a major piece of this. This is the issue, not people that have less than you do.
I just caught that. Yeah, thankfully, those people in Europe can't vote. Can't vote Trump. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
So, an example of some of the impact.
Y'all got your own far right problems to deal with.
That this bullshit has had on real people's lives. Jean Prosper, a Haitian who lives in Springfield with his teenage son Keith, said that he had been shaken by the attacks on Haitians. Quote, "I'm not feeling good," he said. "I saw that information in social media networks and it's not real," referring to Haitians stealing neighbors' pets for consumption. Mr. Prosper said he fled Haiti in 2019 after gangs extorted him and threatened to kill him. He has applied for asylum and has received authorization to work. Currently, he assembles car parts at a company outside Springfield. Quote, "I hope we can find a solution between Haitian people and American people in Springfield," he said. By all accounts, by all reports that I'm reading, the vast majority of people that live there, people that work there, they have no problem at all with the Haitian population. Again, JD Vance talking about his constituents. Who is he talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're American citizens, then they're not. Of course, they can vote here.
He is talking about racists. That's who he is referring to, because the actual impact has been positive. So Ms. Mills, who lives in the working class area of Springfield, referred to as the South Side, said she had many Haitian neighbors. They had helped spruce up the neighborhood because they were renting homes that had been boarded up or dilapidated. Quote, "There are tons of houses that had boards over."
I would say Mississippi or Alabama. Mississippi, I just know they don't let Democrat areas vote by not sending them the papers to vote, and Alabama just clears out Democrat voters' registrations and not let them vote.
Windows or big old red X signs. There are Haitians moving in and they are fixing them. So again, there is no negative impact on the community. The issue here, if there is any issue in terms of lack of healthcare, lack of help, that again is an issue with how society is organized, where those at the top are receiving all the benefits and everybody else are left to fend for themselves. Zed Jelani here, tweeting out, "Springfield was declining for years until they saw an increase in jobs and growth driven by people moving in. That means more wealth, healthier budgets, etc. There are no upsides to immigration in your view. What about Usha?" Speaking of JD Vance's wife, "What about Usha's parents? Should they have stayed in India?" JD Vance replying saying, "Dude, I've always liked you, so maybe there should be a longer conversation, but come on," quote, "are there no upsides to immigration?" is a radically different question from should we drop 20,000 people from a radically different culture in a small Ohio town in a matter of a few years. As Zedjelani pointed out, it already had a positive impact on the economy there.
Right. Yeah, it's a thing that happens, by the way. Armand, that's a thing that happens.
Again, look at where JD Vance is putting the blame, while avoiding the fact that he is propped up by billionaires. Peter Thiel is the reason why JD Vance is the vice presidential pick for Donald Trump. Peter Thiel, a tech billionaire. Crystal Ball, here's where we get to some of the fun stuff. Crystal Ball quote tweeting JD Vance here saying, "When you insist on spreading neo-Nazi fueled smears about immigrants leading to bomb threats, it kind of closes the space for this intellectual discussion about pluses and minuses of immigration that you're now retreating to." JD Vance replying, saying, "Crystal Ball, I really hate neoliberalism. I'm a populist. Also, Crystal Ball, anyone who doesn't think 20,000 cheap laborers should be dropped on a small Ohio town is a neo-Nazi." Again,
no, that's not the point. That's not the point.
He's avoiding the actual issue here.
Right.
Crystal Ball replying, saying, "Did your billionaire handler," again, Crystal Ball here getting to the actual heart of the issue, "did your billionaire handler approve this tweet, or did you come up with it all on your own?" And Kyle Kalinske with the ultimate mic drop here. Mr. I'm a populist JD Vance dodged a question on raising the minimum wage, didn't support the PRO Act, and skipped a vote on extending the child tax credit while virtue signaling like he supports it. You're an effing fraud. Before I move on to the last paragraph here, this perfectly exposes how phony JD Vance.
Yeah, like just to be clear, like these people who claim to be faux populists, yeah, like these people who claim to be faux populists and they're on the right, they're just fascist. Okay, it's not a thing. Jackson is one of the most Democrat areas in Mississippi and of over 1 million voters. They only set 50 vote papers to the voting. Yeah, didn't we go over a story like this? I could have sworn we saw like, or maybe you told us about it. Footlong. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we went over a story or if it was. Okay, we did. All right, cool. All of America will be like Alabama soon enough.
Vance is. If he actually cared about working class people.
Right, but that's the thing though, right? Like these right wing faux populists, there's a word for them. They're fascist. Blatant election tampering, yep.
He would be supporting raising the minimum wage. He would be supporting the PRO Act, which gave more power to labor unions. And he wouldn't be skipping a vote on extending the child tax credit. JD Vance is completely full of shit. He is indeed a fucking fraud. Kyle ends here with this fun line. Take your Ivy League, elitist, venture capitalist ass back to the 4chan message board or Peter Thiel's dick where you belong. The lie you spread about Haitians is literally from a Nazi group, Blood Tribe.
Right. At the last hour of voting, they finally sent the voting papers in so that only a bare minimum could vote.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Good job, Kyle. So, I feel like most people watching this know JD Vance is full of shit, but it is important to remind ourselves how these fake stories, or I should say why these fake stories come about. They are attempting to drive a narrative here that you should be afraid of immigrants, afraid of people that are fleeing terrible conditions, and putting all...
Yeah, let's just be clear. Like, this like, let's just be clear. This is just like blatant racism, okay? Like, this is just racism and xenophobia. This is the same old classic nonsense that gets rolled out every freaking election cycle by the right, to some degree or another. And it's just, I guess, this point, it's egregious. To the extent that they did it this time, by literally accusing a group of people of eating pets or whatever. It's absurd, and it's quite frankly disgusting. Like, there's nothing else to this discussion in terms of like even as far as engaging with it, other than like, yeah, these people are freaking disgusting. These people are freaking disgusting, and the lengths that they will go to demonize and dehumanize a group of people is wild.
You're all the blame for whatever problems you have in your life on them, as opposed to looking at the actual issue, and that is the wealthy individuals, the billionaires that control much of society, including the ones that control JD Vance and Donald Trump.
Correct. Imagine being in 2024 and still talking about racism and homophobia. Yeah, and here we are. I don't know if we'll ever be past this stuff. Well, you know. Colleges and schools in Springfield, Ohio closed after receiving threats linked to false claims about Haitian immigrants. 2 colleges in Springfield, Ohio have moved to virtual learning, and 2 elementary schools were evacuated Monday after receiving separate threats. The closure comes amid ongoing fallout from baseless allegations of former President Trump and J.D. Vance that made during the second presidential debate that Haitian immigrants in the city are stealing and eating local pets. Students at Simon Kenton and Kenwood Elementary School were evacuated to an alternate district location on Monday based on information district officials received from the city police. The Springfield City School District said in a statement, quote, "These are 5th and 6th SCSD buildings to be targeted by recent threats within the last week." So this is the 5th and 6th time that this has happened in that area. This is heartbreaking. It is. Elsewhere in the city, classes at Wittenberg University were held remotely, while campus police and local law enforcement continue to assess email threats of bombings and a school shooting and a campus shooting that targeted members of the Haitian community. Nearby Clark State College also announced its campus will be closed this week. Classes will be held virtually after the school received similar threats through email. Officials said at both schools said they were taking the measures out of an abundance of caution. Yeah, they have to, right? Like, there's no, like, it doesn't matter if you obviously know. If you obviously know it's going to be nonsense, you can't be like, oh, well, obviously this is just like, a threat. But you can't. You have to take action because it might be real. And it's so freaking frustrating and so freaking sad that people will go, yes, home of the ignorant, land of the free, home of the fearing. We'll take these lengths because of racism and xenophobia. We understand the anxiety that such incidents can cause, and we're treating this matter with the utmost seriousness and care. Clark State said in a statement, "We will always prioritize the safety and well-being of the students, employees, and community. We appreciate your understanding during this challenging time." The point of this is to highlight that this is real. This has real-world implications. The words that the former president said, and the claims that he asserted and the vice president asserted do have consequences, do have real world consequences. And these people are being subjected to this all for the sake of racism. If I was a state prosecutor for Ohio, sure, I'd sue Trump and Vance on the same law. They say that your free speech has limits. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Yeah, I mean, like, if there was some type of legal remedy to the type of stuff like this, I would really want to like tighten that, because I feel like this just can't keep happening, right? Like, we can't just allow like people to just say things that obviously lead to serious real world consequences, and like there's just nothing we can do, right? Like, that can't just be the thing, right? Like, it's the same thing with the insurrection, right? Like, Trump didn't say yeah, exactly, that's exactly where I was going, Heat. That's exactly where I was going, Heat. He didn't say go do an insurrection, right? But like, come on, like, we all know that he freaking incited this, that he incited the insurrection. Like, there has to be some type of like legislative relief to tighten up like nonsense like this. I don't know like how I would word it. I don't know how I would put it on paper, but like, man, I don't think the Republican AG who was appointed by Republican Governor DeWine will likely bring anything against Trump. Yeah, that's true. Hello, I'm your new co-host. I mean, I just feel like it's so underwhelming, like the ability for us to respond to something like this, because like, you know, again, Trump isn't saying, you know, like go do bomb threats, right? But like, come on. But if there is a cost, it can be applicable to damages, like maybe the cost of what you know, Trump's rhetoric is having on this on the state. I don't know. I don't know. It's just frustrating. All right, folks, we got a couple of articles, and we're gonna try to just run through these two. I'm gonna skip one. I'm gonna skip this one because I'm just gonna go over it. Right, but he isn't not saying it, which is the problem, right? Because it's not like he's not saying to do these things, but like, come on, the rhetoric is leading to these type of incidents. He's not the president; he can be sued. Well, I hope something, like, man, anything. Like schools shut down can be thousands a day, exactly. The only way is to elevate the intellectual level of the country, because stopping people to express themselves by voting is attacking democracy, I think. It's illegal in Ohio under ORC 2917.31. It's called inducing panic. The law starts, no person shall cause the evacuation of any public space or otherwise cause serious public inconvenience or alarm by doing any of the following: initiating or circulating a report or warning of an alleged impending fire. Right, but like that is like the kind of statute that would apply to the people who are making the fake bomb threats, right? But like, how do we deal with a person who isn't necessarily doing that, but is talking in a way that inspires people to commit a violation of that specific law that you pointed out? Like, you see what I'm saying? Circulating a report of a crime. Oh, I see what you're saying. But like, he's just circulating that report. He isn't actually causing the evacuation of said public space. It's the people who are calling the fake bomb threats that are doing this. But they are inspired by him. They are inspired by the fake report that he's circulating. So like, does that count? Like, can that be linked to him? I would argue in a normal, logical world, it could be. I just don't know, like, you know, there's also the problem that the simulacra pointed out, that like the Ohio State AG, the Ohio State AG is a Republican, so the chances of them doing anything would be minimal, but it's quite frustrating. I'm not sure. I just found it interesting. Gotcha. That Ohio specifically has. I mean, like, it makes sense, right? Like, you can't just go. It's effectively, like you said earlier, it's effectively yelling fire at a theater, right? You can't just go around doing that because it's inducing panic. I think we have that to a certain degree, to a degree in the federal level, right? Like, you can't just go, you know, on airplanes and start joking about bombs or saying that you have a bomb when you don't, and then just claim like, oh, I was just kidding. See, I don't have anything. You can't do that. So I would say that, like, yeah, the dog whistling, a dog whistling law, like something that like you could link the rhetoric of the offender to the cause of what's happening around that rhetoric, right? It is tough with speech because you get really close to going authoritarian yourself, right? Which presents the conundrum, right? You're stuck at a catch-22 because, like, obviously you're not going to go around shutting everybody's speech because they said, you know, something, but like something that is palpable, that is so, like, it's so A to B that you can say, like, obviously this dude's rhetoric is leading to these problems. Something has to be done. Do you see, like, where I'm going at? Like, I don't know. I don't know how it would go down, or if it... it's hard. The conundrum exists as you point out. I would argue that because his sphere of influence is different than John Doe yelling in a microphone that people are eating pets is much different than a presidential candidate saying, yeah, or even someone with a large audience specifically targeting, in this case, Springfield, Ohio, saying like, yeah, they're eating this, they're doing that, these immigrants, they're doing this, and then like cause, someone with incredible influence, in this case, a presidential candidate, and with incredible influence saying, hey, this group of people is doing this, and then B, they are literally like being targeted now. There's a target on their back because of what this guy has been saying, but I don't know. How to get Trump on the charges that people are calling on in these threats would probably only be able to use in a RICO standard. I'm just remembering some of my pre-law studies. First, we need to cancel X. The media that Elon Musk created is real propaganda, and putting fake news all over there is making a catastrophic damage for people who only watch political information there. I'm not disputing the fact that like it's a serious problem, but like, at the same time, like, can you just shut down the whole platform, or can you put more guardrails where there's actual consequences, where we can point out like, hey, these accounts are causing this damage. We need to put a stop to that. Does that make sense? Because like, I'm not disputing the fact that X or Twitter is a problem in the sense that like the way it's being run or lack thereof has real world implications. But like, again, it's just it's a conundrum. Also, I posted legal Eagle video posting. Video I was talking about in the videos. Gotcha. I'll take a look at that. Because I mean, like, for example, going back to your comment, Armand, Brazil, and I think another European country is considering, if not already in the process of booting Twitter out. But like, do you go to that extent to shutting down the whole platform, or do you, or do you say like, hey, in order for you, like, I don't know, you cannot just tell Elon Musk to stop. I think this guy has too much power now. Well, yeah, I mean, he's incredibly powerful. He's got, for all intents and purposes, he literally has infinite resources, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, he's already incredibly wealthy, powerful, and influential. I think that's how it starts. Other countries should follow Brazil, namely Europe. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of like, of what Brazil is doing. I think Brazil is basically saying like, hey, if you don't put guardrails, then you can't operate here, right? Which honestly makes more sense. If you can't put any more guardrails, okay, if you're just letting this kind of stuff slide without any type of checks and balances here, then like this, it just can't operate this way. We just can't have this, which I think that's a fair assessment. But again, I don't know how far you can take that, but something has to be done. All right, folks, I got to get through this. Trump allies worry his tie to far-right activist Laura Loomer could cost him Georgia and North Carolina. Man, you love to see it, folks. You love to see it. Donald Trump allies are worried that the former president's tie to right-wing activists Laura Loomer could cost him votes in key battleground states. The allies told NBC News that there are real concerns about Loomer and Trump's association, especially in the wake of a racist social media post about Vice President Kamala Harris, where she wrote that the, quote, White House, oh yeah, we went over this, will smell like curry, and White House speeches will be facilitated via call center if Harris wins the presidency. Quote, she has to go. Laura Loomer cannot stay. She just can't. She's unapologetic, one of the Trump allies told NBC News, adding that this woman attacked the vice president of the United States in such a racist manner. It was appalling, and she hasn't apologized. Well, she's, you You deal with this. This is you deal with this. You made this. Sometimes the bad guys really do lose. I'm making butter chicken. Oh no, we can't start. We can't start with the food talk. I'm hungry. Oh man. Oh, the food talk. And I can smell the pasta that is happening upstairs. I can smell the pasta. Ooh. Several allies who were granted anonymity to speak candidly warned that Loomer's rhetoric about Harris could hurt Trump's standing with critical voters, particularly in key states of Georgia and North Carolina, which have large Indian American and Hindu populations. A second Trump rally. You're visibly sweating over that food. I've been smelling it for the past 30-something minutes. Okay. Don't at me. Don't at me. But I've been smelling this for 30 minutes. Whew. Hungry. A second Trump ally told NBC News that Trump has been directly warned about this by the people in Georgia and North Carolina. The former president was told, if you don't fix this, it will be a problem. A statement provided by NBC News of the Georgia chapter of American Hindu Coalition, which bills itself as a nonpartisan advocacy group and posted by Green on social media, also warned about Loomer's rhetoric that while President Trump and his dedicated allies, such as Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, have worked tirelessly to build a future where every American can thrive, sure, recent statements that have been attempted to divide our community along racial or ethnic lines, specifically those made by Laura Loomer, are completely unacceptable and do not reflect the values of this movement or the America we seek to build. It does reflect the MAGA movement. Flapjacks here. We just read about Paul Bunyan. Nice. One ally said they were glad Trump shared part of the statement by the group on his True Social page, saying it was an indication that he is taking the matter seriously. Indian Americans count for a bit more than 1% of the total U.S. population, according to census estimates. Georgia has the highest share of any 2024 battleground at about 1.5% of the state of population, followed by Pennsylvania, Michigan, and North Carolina. Georgia and North Carolina among the closest states in the 2024 presidential race, with most public polling showing the margins between Harris and Trump within a few percentage points in both places. Critically, both states have track records of ticket splitting, with a slice of MAGA skeptical voters proving decisive. In 2022, Georgia voters deemed Trump-endorsed state candidate Herschel Walker unfit, even while re-electing Republican Governor Brian Kemp by 7.5 margin, 2 years after Trump narrowly lost the state. Walker, meanwhile, finished a point behind Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock on the same ballot before Warnock won in a December 2022 runoff. In North Carolina, voters elected Democratic Governor Roy Cooper in 2016 and 2020, even while Trump narrowly carried the state at the top of the ticket. And this year, Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has trouble getting traction in public polling of the governor's race amid broad concerns about his policies and rhetoric on abortion, families, and other issues. The other issues being, Holocaust denial. Just saying. I will comment how Republican gatherings are appropriately called rallies, since rallies are commonly what they call Nazi and KKK meetings. True. There are people who want to be helpful and who want to win and have the operation to do so, but there is a bridge of those who won't cross, that those people won't cross, and it seems right now that Donald Trump is intent on crossing it, said Georgia Republican strategist. If he crosses that bridge with people like Laura Loomer, the people he needs to win won't be there on the other side. So TLDR, he's effectively sinking his own campaign for the sake of keeping close these far right sycophants who are just that, right? They're yes people, right? And he doesn't care that it might sink his campaign, but as long as they're yes people and loyal, they get to stay in the inner circle. Hopefully, that continues, by the way. Hopefully that continues. If he wants to torpedo himself, if he wants to torpedo his own campaign, by all means, I will not stop him. By all means, please continue. Or replacing Melania. I've seen who boy, like we're not even gonna go down that rabbit hole, but who boy, let me tell you, yeah. Can you imagine if that ends up being the case, Michael Hassler? Can you imagine if that ends up being the case? Oh my goodness. Whew. All right, folks, we got one more article. Man. Whew. All I have to say to that is wow. Because yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I see it, and man, if it ends up happening, just whoo boy. Wild. All right, so last story, folks. As Derry Bennett earlier pointed out, there was what seems to be a second assassination attempt of Trump. This happened at the golf course resort in West Palm Beach. And so far, what we know about the actual incident was that it was one person. Apparently, they were camped out there for a while, maybe a couple days. The person had a rifle, was about 400 yards, and Secret Service saw him. They shot at this would-be assassin before the assassin could even get a shot off, and he ran away and was later apprehended. And we don't know very much about this guy other than like just two interesting tidbits. This guy apparently was a Tulsi Gabbard fan and a Nikki Haley fan. So that's the two interesting tidbits as to where his political yes, and Ramaswamy, yes, and Vivek, that's right. So that's kind of like the most we've got as far as like political affiliations. He was also a Republican fan, but a big Ukrainian supporter. Right. That's right. That's about as far as like we've gotten. A Republican turned Dem. There was an update to the guy who voted for Trump in 2016 and moved to Dem after he saw where the trim was, and he's pro-Ukrainian ironically. Yeah. So in any case, the issue here is about, as he just pointed out, the issue here is really the escalation that keeps happening. Is kind of like a warning as to how volatile or how potentially volatile things could be for this election season. I mean, like, man, we're less than 2 months into the election, and we've had 2 assassination attempts, and it's just, to me, it's just like a, how do I put this? A bad omen, right? Like, I'm not particularly comfortable about like the situation surrounding like the election time. It's clear that things could be incredibly volatile. I saw a bunch of short videos he made, and they were something. I mean, like, based on like what I know, he seems pretty conspiracy brained. So I don't know like what the final motivation is, but he seemed pretty conspiracy brained. Well, here's the thing about Ukraine. We have a lot of Ukrainians live in the U.S. The fastest way to create a terrorist is for the government to kill someone's family. It's not shocking to me that Ukrainians who are Republican were to be turned off by the rhetoric, or more psychotic than turned off. He came across as less political than someone who should have been able to get help instead of a gun. And so after all this happened, right? Okay, so apprehended, he's arrested. After all this happened, of course, the temperature, immediately begins to rise. By Trump saying Biden-Harris rhetoric to blame for Florida assassination attempt. Of course, this is not true. Every accusation is just a confession. These people's rhetoric are way more linked to violence than anything Harris or Biden has said. Like, come on, man. Former President Trump on Monday blamed the polarized political environment and rhetoric. Please, like, spare me. Like, this is the kind of stuff that really freaking, like, gets me frustrated. Like, now we're gonna wring our hands about polarized political rhetoric. Now we're gonna engage in hand wringing. The scariest fact is that Trump wins and someone assassinates him. We end up with Captain Couch Vance as president that wrote part of 2025. That's a thought, foot long. From Vice President Harris and Biden for the second assassination attempt on his life over the weekend, though both gunmen's motives remain unclear. Trump claimed that Harris and Biden caused the suspected gunman, Ryan Ruth, to act on Sunday. He believed the rhetoric of Biden and Harris and acted on it, said Trump. Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I'm the one who's going to save the country, and they're the ones who are destroying the country, both from the inside and out. The suspect's motive remain unknown, and the FBI continues to conduct an extensive investigation into Ruth's background, looking at whether Ruth was frustrated with Trump's position on Ukraine. Sources tell ABC News. The FBI is investigating Sunday's incident as an attempted assassination. It was not clear if Ruth was aiming his gun at the former president, and it's not clear if Ruth fired a shot. Agents fired at the suspect after spotting his rifle through a fence line near the Trump International Golf Course. Ruth appeared in federal courtroom in West Palm Beach, facing 2 firearms-related charges. While blaming Democrats for using highly inflammatory language, the former president attacked his opponents, calling them enemies and threats. Yeah, like, man, this is just like wild, double speak, right? Emperor of the Ottoman Empire. In a post on the social media platform later Monday, Trump accused Democrats of making false statements about him that has taken politics into a country of a whole new level of hatred, abuse, and distrust. Again, projection, right? Like, every accusation is just a projection. Like, man, nobody believes that nonsense, okay? No rational person, I should say, excluding the cult that believes everything he says. No rational person believes that this is actually true. Come on, man. It's your party, it's your movement that took politics to a whole new level of hatred, abuse, and distrust. It was you who did this. Because of Democrats, rhetoric and bullets are flying, and it will only get worse. Yeah, because of you. Because of you. Harris's campaign and the White House both said they would not be commenting on Trump's statement at this time. The political nature of his comments is a departure from Trump's immediate response following his assassination attempt earlier. After the shooting, Trump called for political unity, initially urging his allies not to point the blame across the aisle. In this moment, it's more important that we stand united. Nothing that is relevant because it's not true. No heckin' way. Whenever a Republican makes a claim, it's a Spider-Man pointing meme. His tone later shifted, suggesting during the ABC presidential debate that he probably took a bullet to the head because of Harris. The FBI has not established a motive that explains why that dude fired on Trump. It's not clear what motivated this suspect in Pennsylvania. It's not clear what motivated the suspect in Pennsylvania who shot at the former president. On Sunday, the Secret Service fired at Ruth, who was armed with an AK-47 style rifle near the Trump International Golf Course. in West Palm Beach. Speaking to reporters on Monday, Biden called for more Secret Service assistance. One thing I want to make clear, the Secret Service needs more help, and I think Congress should respond to their needs. In fact, if they need more servicemen, said Biden while departing the White House. So yeah, I mean, like, dude took this opportunity to raise the temperature, and now, because of rhetoric like this, he's basically painting targets on Democrats, right? Like on his political opponents. Because if he can paint the picture that Democrats are doing this, then it's fair game, right? Right, fair game that Republicans now take shots at their perceived enemies. You see where I'm going with this? Like, this is not good. This is not good at all. Not great. Not good. Not exactly the situation I want to find myself in at all. This is a guy who said, well, nothing to do about it, folks. Maybe the Second Amendment people about Hillary. Correct. Right. And now this is correct. This is exactly the same person who's now, all of a sudden hand-wringing about, the rhetoric. Man. That's what happens when Democrats don't prosecute fascism. You know what? I will say that, like, unfortunately, like, liberals aren't really fully equipped to deal with fascists. I've said this before. Liberals just aren't fully equipped to deal with fascism. Pirate Ninja coming in at the 11th hour. Welcome. Oh, it's almost 7:30, folks. I gotta go eat. Folks. But nonetheless, we still made it through. What time do you start? I keep forgetting. No problem. We start at 5 p.m. Eastern, more or less. Dan, anonymously, I've been here lurking. Thank you. Appreciate that. We start about 5 p.m. Eastern. Listen, Pirate Ninja, it's all good because guess what? You can always hang out in the Discord. You're always welcome to stop by at any point in the stream. I'm just glad you popped in. And you can always check out the YouTube, which you can replay the stream there as well. But no, I'm just messing with you. I'm glad you popped in. I'm baking on the stove. That's my cue. Look at that. Go get that butter chicken. I'll be on time tomorrow. I appreciate it. I do watch some old streams. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Pirate Ninja. And definitely thank you for hanging out, even if it's for one moment or the whole stream. It doesn't matter because all of you are important to the stream. Thank you, and I appreciate your viewership. Again, whether it's 1 minute, 1 second, or 1 hour, I appreciate your viewership. Thank you, and thank you for stopping by, Pirate Ninja. Folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. If you want to keep supporting the channel, there are many different ways. Consider checking out the merch store. I really appreciate it. We'll be doing some more work on that in the background. Join the Discord, folks. We'll be having movie nights last Saturday of the month. Join the Discord. A few of you have joined the Discord. I see you guys. Thank you. What was the type of terrorism you mentioned earlier? Stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism is what I was talking about. Like that. Like that. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Join the Discord, folks. I see a few of you have joined. Thank you. Keep liking the stream on YouTube, folks. Your likes really do help us. Really do help us out. Your subscriptions on YouTube, 257 257 of you have subscribed on the YouTube. I appreciate it. Redolent Thought was also saying this too. Thanks. No problem. Yeah, it's 100%. Also known as Republicans. You do most of the work, dude. Glad to be part of it. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Keep spreading the word, folks. Bring a friend. We'll be here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join the Discord, folks. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, 5 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all, and thank you for all the new follows as well. Glad to help. I appreciate it. Thank you all. See ya. Hang tight. Whew. I learned a new word today. That's what it's all about. I'm glad. Just in the nick of time, too. My voice is giving out, folks. Oh, I know. I know where we're going, folks. Hang tight. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. How's that for pronunciation? All right, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.